is the issue of the 6-foot distance. And I made the statement that it just appeared, and that got taken at like, I don't know what's going on, it just appeared. It actually came from the CDC. The CDC was responsible for those kinds of guidelines for schools, not me. So when I said that it just appeared, it appeared. Was there any science behind it? What I meant by no science behind it is that there wasn't a controlled trial that said compare 6 foot with 3 feet with 10 feet. So there wasn't that scientific evaluation of it. What I believe the CDC used for their reason to say 6 feet is that studies years ago showed that when you're dealing with droplets, which at the time that the CDC made that recommendation, it was felt that the transmission was primarily through droplet, not aerosol, which is incorrect because we know now aerosol does play a role. That's the reason why they did it. It had little to do with me since I didn't make the recommendation, and my saying there was no science behind it means there was no clinical trial that proved that. That's just one of the things that got a little distorted in the response to that.
What's going on, everyone? Starts getting here today, and I want to give my reaction and analysis on the whole Fauci court hearing. No, it's not court hearing. Sorry, I wish. Government hearing to the response of COVID. Now, one of the things that we just found out is that always question everything, right? If the scientists or if the experts can't give a satisfactory answer, then you should assume that it's just them operating on a belief or unproven theory or an assumption about something. Because COVID revealed a lot about how people in high power kind of see us. Because people were giving counter arguments way before we had the data, way before we had the information in front of us. And you know what they did? They just dismissed us and like, no, we know what's best. And then all along, the theories that the contrarian view on COVID, on the COVID response, turned out to be true. Hey, I don't see how 6 feet is going to stop COVID from spreading. Quiet you. This is why the left don't like critical thinkers. How long people been saying that natural immunity has a stronger and more durable effect than the vaccines? Once you get COVID, you survive COVID, where you had like if you had no previous conditions, you had a 96% chance of living. Imagine that. They force a vaccine mandate on the most of the population who had a higher rate of survivability. And after you survive, natural immunity was proven to be more durable than the vaccine. What did the mainstream media, these experts that the CDC put in front of us? They deny all of this. They sat there and pretend that natural immunity wasn't a thing. Y'all remember that? This is why I titled the video why I titled it. Because the left and many people only use the science, trust the science, to try to bolster their narrative when they have no evidence to prove it. He just admitted it in the intro. There was no conclusive evidence. We was making it up as we go along because we felt it was the best thing to do. When you make public policy, and this is something that I strongly agree with regardless of political party, when a politician makes policy, it can't be based off of how he feels the society should go. He should have some type of information or something leading him to make a probable calculation that, hey, this policy will be a net positive on our society. And this is why we got so much of these these policy backfires that we always see mostly Democrats do. The border policy backfire, mass amnesty. I'm about to get on in a separate video. But these people in these high powers, bro, like they really don't give a damn about our opinion. That's something I'm starting to realize. The reason why they keep talking the ish they talk on mainstream media with airwaves, the crap they spew on radio, trying to condition you to think a certain way, is because they don't believe you should have an opinion. They don't think you should think for yourself. They say, you let us do the thinking for us. You just follow. They want us to be a population of sheep. I think that's the real reality here. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. So breaking, we know what we learned what we already know. This is what people were remember when people in 2020 was getting called conspiracy theorists when they were saying that, hey, I think doctors are getting incentivized to push COVID. Oh, you're making that up. Typical liberal, always downplaying the contrarian view. Just should humble liberals all around the world because they're the biggest. When they call you conspiracy theory, it's just a theorist. It's just, hey, I don't want to take in consideration your skepticism of my ideas of what my people do. So I'm gonna just ignore you, dismiss you, or try to label you names so that way I can hurt your credibility so people don't listen to you. That's all the labeling does. That's all liberals know how to do. It seems in the public discussion. Not all liberals, but this is what is conveyed in the mainstream media because this is what they do. The government and Big Pharma are one and the same. New York Post revealed that scientists at the National Institute of Health received $710 million in royalties from drug makers during the COVID years. Pandemic years. From late 2021 to 2023. This information was previously concealed by the NIH. So after they do their damage, this is typical Democrat stuff. After they get you to do what they want, that's when they slowly start rolling out, oh, it wasn't Russian disinformation. It wasn't a prop. The Hunter laptop. And Fauci ouchie, right? This is what he's called in conservative circles. As you saw from the intro, he couldn't name one study to support the child masking before pandemic. So you sitting here putting a mask on your kid, thinking that it's helping him, saving him. No, it was misinformation given by so-called experts. This is why I don't believe they're experts anymore. Trust the science has died today. And then the Democrats wonder why people do not trust them. It is like it's like common sense will tell you, hey, you keep telling people information, and then years later, right? This right? I'm being honest here. Years later, information comes out disproving everything you said. We find out how you arrive to certain policy positions. We're gonna go, yo, these people don't know half of what they're talking about. Is Anthony Fauci actually a doctor, or he's just a spokesman, or he's just a politician with a medical degree? What is it? Before I continue on this article, before I continue with this article, I want you to see this clip of his opening statements during his hearing. Let's take a look.
7 months after the identification of this new virus, safe and highly effective vaccines were widely available, an unprecedented accomplishment in the history of vaccinology that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide.
Did the COVID vaccine stop transmission of the virus?
That is a complicated issue because in the beginning, the first iteration of the vaccines did have an effect, not 100%, not a high effect. They did prevent infection and subsequently, obviously, transmission. However, it's important to point out something that we did not know early on that became evident as the months went by, is that the durability of protection against infection and hence transmission was relatively limited, whereas the duration of protection against severe disease, hospitalization, and deaths was more prolonged. We did not know that in the beginning. In the beginning, it was felt that, in fact, it did prevent infection and thus transmission, but that was proven as time went by to not be a durable effect.
Ask your kid, setting them back, making their lives hard over a speculation, over feelings, because Fauci felt it was what it was going to do. So if your whole, and this is the funny part, if your whole proposition is based on a theory, an assumption you're having, wouldn't that make it more important to consider the contrarian view to what you're trying to prescribe to society? This is what I'm saying. These people don't care what we think about, bro. They don't care. Right? They want you to believe a narrative. They want you to be scared about COVID. Oh my God. We don't want people to get tired of COVID. So we'll keep bringing up new stories. Remember when this came out? What liberals were saying? Conspiracy theory. You're a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I didn't hear no argument why it's wrong. Bruh. These people, they do damage to the institution. When they say, oh, people don't trust news anymore. Why people don't trust news media anymore? Only Democrats trust news media because news media only push a democratic worldview. They don't put no strong contrarian view. They don't put opposing evidence to some of the stances that they have because they just want to condition the youth, right? Repetition. They just want to keep repeating the lies, right? The things they accuse Trump of doing, the mainstream media are already guilty of doing that. They just don't like someone else is doing the same tactic to push out the contrarian view. This is why they censor. This is why they censor opposing opinions. Because they know in the battle of ideas, they lose every single time. For the most part, I'll say their lose rate is 80%. 80% of the time, they'll be wrong about something. That's just my estimation. This is just based on my personal view, based on what I observe, because this is ridiculous right here. Charlie Chester, CNN technical director. Remember when this came out? Liberals tried to dismiss it as, oh, this is disinformation, misinformation.
I think there's just like a COVID fatigue. So like whenever a new story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced inner office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate, climate like global warming, and like that's going to be our next like I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be our focus. Like
it's going to be our, hey, this is what we want you to be scared of today. Mainstream media is a threat to America. Majority of Americans agree with this statement that I just stated. Only Democrats have shown to trust the mainstream media. Only Democrats, at a large percentage, trust the mainstream media. Trust what the mainstream media had to say. Report. Here's a report. Dr. Fauci, who's accused of lying under oath, admits he made up the COVID rules. We know this, including social distancing and masks for children, despite not even having scientific evidence to back it up. Trust the science. More like trust the narrative. Let's fudge numbers and say, look at all the deaths of COVID. And then you look, oh, hey, a large majority of those people had either pre-existing conditions, or they're not healthy, or they're old and elderly. So shouldn't we make policy where we kind of isolate them, let them stay at home, make sure they put masks on, and let the younger crowd continue living their lives? No. Hey, based on the information we already knew at the time, because Fauci's sitting here pretending that no one had any information and we were just all shooting in the dark. When there was contrarian, this is why this is why free speech exists. So when you have a contrarian view, hey, I see things a little bit differently, you're gonna see, oh, hey, these people have the right of it, these people have the wrong of it. And it seems like time and time again, a lot of the time, it seemed like the contrarian view has been more right than the narrative, than the assumptions that we started with. It's baffling to me, right? This is some of the reactions. In case you're confused on which side you're on, the Democrats had to find an obscure law, twist it in order for it to become a felony, charge the statutes of limitation on it, get an activist judge who wasn't even in the rotation to preside over the trial, and then influence the jury in order to get after a man who has been a law-abiding citizen his entire life. Democrats also heavily protecting a man who made up a bunch of rules for what was essentially a flu with bigger tits. I like this guy, it's funny. Wrecked the nation, wrecked the economy, destroyed families, locked down the country, and made it so that you wouldn't be around your loved ones in their time of need. Which side are you on? Democrats has destroyed everything. Democrats has destroyed the credibility of racism claims, sexism claims, discrimination claims, because we see it for what they do. It's just a means to get their way. It's a means to justify, hey, give us control over your lives. Remember when he said we're not doing gain of function research? Remember Fauci said that? Now, when pressed on it, right, Fauci repeatedly denies that he suppressed the lab leak theory. Bruh, this man this is the arrogance of these political elites. They think the average American will forget all this stuff. Oh, this happened 3 years ago. No way America's going to remember. Right? The left calls you the United States of amnesia. This is why I said to be good in politics or to be informed in politics, all you have to do is have a long memory. All you got to do is go, Fauci, what? Fauci, there's tape of you saying that was a conspiracy theory, and the president at the time, Donald Trump, was being xenophobic. He was being racist towards Chinese people. Because Donald Trump was like, yo, it came from China. Y'all disputed that. A couple years come out, that was a lie. Fauci, bro, this is why when an expert relies on his authority or his credentials to make an argument, it's not a good argument. Because if you don't have anything to actually convince you, hey, look, sir, you may not be an expert, but I understand that you need to have a way to evaluate what I'm saying to be accurate and true. This is how I would act if I was an expert at something. This is how I would go about it. Here's some information that we see. This is to suggest this works, right? And if we get it wrong, here's the contrarian view on what this person said. Like, this person said that natural immunity is stronger. Make your choice. Like, why? Why you can't just let people make their choice? But they can't. Because the Democratic Party, the left, has already shown that they're a bunch of authoritarians pretending to be liberals, pretending to be free thinkers, pretending to be, we're trying to offer you freedom. And in reality, you can only be free according to these parameters. Everyone deserves free speech if you're not, except if you're not a liberal. Everything is, we believe everyone's right to choose if you're a liberal. We believe no one's above the law unless you're a liberal, unless you're a Democrat. That's the message I'm getting from the Democratic Party. Fauci's a Democrat, look how they protect him. Trump's not a Democrat, look how they go after him. Look at why they soft on crime, because a large majority of these people who commit crime are minorities. Sorry, not sorry. That's the truth. That's the evidence. They see it as, damn, if I convict my voting base, that's one less black person, one less Hispanic person that will be able to vote. That's how they see soft on crime. Now, it may not be the reason why, but Democrats have shown me time and time again, they're a party that operates only for their political gain. That's it. So if they do a policy, I'm assuming, hey, they're doing it based on some political gain they'll gain from this. Like this gain of function research that Fauci lied about, that Rand Paul exposed him time after time after time, but most of America didn't hear it. Or most of America didn't believe it because mainstream media was out here running cover saying, conspiracy theories, all the Republicans trying to sow distrust in our institution. No, you guys do it to yourselves. Mainstream media is a threat to the Republic and is a threat to America because these people don't want to give you knowledge. They only want to give you a narrative. I digress. Let's hear this clip of Fauci denying that he was not the one who tried to say the lab leak theory was a hoax or something. Let's take a look.
Clarify for the record, because today you testified that you did not suppress the lab leak theory, yet in the past you have said, quote, it is a distortion of reality, unquote. You've said, quote, I've heard these conspiracy theories, and like all conspiracy theories, they're just conspiracy theories. That's what you told the American people. And so would you like to clarify what science were you following then versus now?
No, I've also been very, very clear and said multiple times that I don't think the concept of there being a lab leak is inherently a conspiracy theory. What is conspiracy is the kind of distortions of that particular subject, like it was a lab leak and I was parachuted into the CIA like Jason Bourne and told the CIA that
wasn't the question. See, like this is what they do. Instead of taking accountability and say, yeah, I was wrong about that. Distortion of reality. He's distorting reality too. No one cared about you being part of the CIA. You moving away from the point. The point was you said this was a conspiracy theory. And then you say, no, I wasn't talking about this specific thing. I knew it was possible. I was talking about something else. But you didn't clarify at the time. Arrogant. Here's another one. How can you say the NIA did not fund the dangerous gain of function research? Remember, I just talked about the NIA, how they put out all this incentive for doctors to go out and prescribe vaccines, medicines, and people are saying, hey, I think this COVID thing these vaccines are being pushed by every medical provider because there's an incentive to push it out. Remember, the government was complaining about, damn, we have reserves of vaccines. We got vaccines that's about to go bad. Not enough Americans, sorry, not enough Americans are getting vaccinated. We need to push the vaccine harder. We need mandates because all the doctors are looking to make their little money, their little vaccine COVID bonus. He's denying that too. Oh, NIH didn't fund this. When Moderna paid, I think NIH $400 million, I guess to cover this up. I don't know. No one knew the reason why they paid them $400 million. But I can assume it was to push the vaccines, to push their product. Big Pharma, we find out, is a big sponsor of mainstream media. This is why they're quick to hit you with a strike on your channel for medical misinformation when I merely just asked questions. I merely gave a contrarian view on the authorities' narrative because I think it's a fallacy just to blindly trust people of power and authority just because they have credentials behind their name. Nah. This is how you end up in this situation where you get a liar, you get a doctor who's technically a politician, Dr. Fauci, using his credentials to push an assumption that is unproven. He has no evidence behind it, but then he had enough evidence to suppress information coming out from doctors who had a contrarian view, who were also doing the same thing he was doing, based on an assumption. Hey, look, we got natural immunity. This is symptoms are similar to the flu. This is not dangerous to people, to young people, especially children. Children seem to have a higher survival rate than everyone else. They're less affected by COVID. No. Because they wanted you to do a particular action. They wanted you to get vaccinated. And if you don't see this as a threat, you would not have gotten vaccinated. So this guy spread misinformation. What's the punishment? The left? Y'all scream oh, Trump lies. You got to fact check him in real time. And it seems like they're telling on themselves because it seems like the mainstream media needs to fact check themselves in real time because that's the only way you're going to get the country's trust again. Because only Democrats trust y'all crap. Independents like me, we don't trust your crap. Republicans definitely don't trust your crap. But y'all still sitting here with such confidence. I wish I could be as delusional as a liberal, but I can't do it. I know that I could be wrong about things. I can't do it. But they can. Let's listen.
In his May 16,
I'm saying no because I've said no multiple times, including
you.
on the transcribed interview.
In his May 16, 2024 testimony, the NIH Deputy Director Tabak said, and I quote, "I can tell you that the failure of the Wuhan Institute of Virology to provide us with the data that we requested and the lab notebooks that we requested certainly impeded our ability to understand what was really going on with the experiments that we have been discussing this morning." My question to you, Dr. Fauci, if the NIH didn't inspect the Wuhan Institute of Virology and NIH didn't receive the lab books and data from China and the required reports from EcoHealth Alliance were not submitted, in fact, they were late, how can you definitively say that the NIH did not fund the dangerous gain-of-function research? In his May 16th...
Yeah, there you go. Making all these bold claims. Oh, he's guilty. It's the same thing with Trump. Oh, he's guilty. He did it. He falsified business records. For what crime? How can you say he definitively committed a crime when you can't even specify what crime that Donald Trump committed? All you said he falsified business records. Couldn't he have made an error? Couldn't he have made a mistake? Don't you make mistakes? When you accidentally take something out of the store and you return it back to the store, imagine you got arrested. Oh, you tried to steal. Oh, I returned it back. It was just a mistake. I thought I purchased it. I didn't. I returned it back. No. You made a mistake. Hey, put him in jail. Imagine we operated the same way that Democrats operated. Imagine. Fauci. Oh, he could have been making a mistake. Oh, Fauci could have. This is the Democrats are so hypocritical. They literally made a mistake. Fauci makes a mistake, right? He did all this based on his own assumptions because he was trying to save people. That's his pretext. And we're like, no. You gave out false information, Fauci. You gave misinformation, Fauci. We got to put you in jail. They don't hold themselves to the same standard they try to hold everyone else to. Bruh, if Fauci don't get punished for this, if Fauci don't get any consequences for this, man, throw the whole party, throw the whole Congress away. Throw the whole thing away. Because this grinds my gears, bro. This is some of the most annoying. Because I hate people who pretend that they know what's best for me, But when my skepticism is proven validated time and time and time again, I'm like, yo, I might as well run the country because this is ridiculous. And you want me to trust your experts? And then when I come out on my channel and say, hey, look, a lot of these experts are using their credentials and authority to push political narratives and propaganda. Oh, Kenny, you're a science denier. The atheist has become the very thing they claim that Christians are. They're zealots. Zealots corner anyone. Trust the science. What the hell does that mean? To only believe the science that you think should be allowed to be consumed by the populace? Or is science just neutral, objective? So if I have evidence to say, hey, look, this is contrary to what you're telling me, and you say, no, that's conspiracy theory. And then once I do what you want, 3 years down the line, you'll tell me, oh, turns out you're right all along. Trust the science is dead, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what your guys' reaction to the whole Fauci trials. I know there's more clips out there like Marjorie Taylor Greene telling him you should be in jail for crimes of humanity, but I couldn't find this clip before I made this video. But, yo, he needs to be held accountable because, I don't know, it shows me a lot that if this guy's not held accountable, they don't really care what the American people think. That's why I'm starting to get that feeling that they don't really care. And if they don't care, we have to care. We have to stand. Like, it's almost at this point that all citizens of America have to stand together against the government, the elite. And that's why I laugh at progressives when they say the government is representative of the people. Would the representative of the people willingly tell lies like Fauci did? If I was Fauci, I'd have been honest. Hey, look, there's no data backing up what we're saying here. We're open to all opinions. We're considering all approaches and all options to reach the best solution for everyone, including the citizens of the United States of America. That's how I would have approached it, honestly. But no, they have other incentives. There's money to be made from this. Don't let a good crisis go to waste. All these phrases that come from what? The Democratic Party. To leverage it to benefit their own pockets. Democrats will love to say, oh, the Republican Party is in the pocket of the NRA. But the Democrats don't expose themselves and say they're the party of the big pharma, of these green energy companies that literally are doing the same thing you claim the gas companies are doing. Oh, they're trying to get budget cuts. Okay, green energy companies, solar energy companies are trying to get special incentives to boost their profit margins. Why we don't spin that narrative against the left? Look at the left. They're getting paid out by big pharma. All politicians are technically, but the Democrats are big. They're in the back pocket of big pharma, giving us drugs that are ineffective. That's causing injuries, allegedly, before YouTube come here and hit me with misinformation. But people were thinking this years in advance before the evidence came out, just like Fauci was doing, making recommendations before the data came out. But we're supposed to trust him because he has a credential. Oh, he's a doctor. This is how people lose trust in the experts. Because when the experts, based on a historical timeline, gets proven wrong majority of the time, you might as well tell the people, hey, trust your own intuition at this point. Because that's what we're doing. It's just we got a degree next to our name. That's why you're supposed to trust our intuition more than your own. Making general statements, oh, we all should get vaccinated. I'm young. I'm healthy. I don't have any pre-existing conditions. Why should I get a COVID shot? Because we told you to. That's what it is. But what you think, guys? I'm done rambling. Because this really annoys me. That you can get this Fauci ouchie liar pretending that he knows it all. He's just an expert. Oh, look. Oh, these idiots. They're thinking that it came from Wuhan. Ha 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 ha. Proven wrong. After they can't say it didn't come from Wuhan, they go, well, it wasn't gain-of-function research. You found out Fauci deleted a bunch of emails sending out things talking about gain-of-function research. He doesn't want to name it gain-of-function research, but everything he says implies that it was gain-of-function research. Just look at the hearing from Rand Paul. But hey, these are the same people that will gaslight you and to think that the economy is doing great. Same people, but they expect us to trust them. The arrogance of the mainstream liberal left. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm really going to end off this time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say on this one. Peace.